Hey everyone, welcome to your Friday edition of The Nerve. And my God, do we have a banger of a show for you today? A banger. First, we are going to take our troublemaking wrecking ball to one of the worst offenders out there. Now, this individual just 4 months ago promised to go away. But now this person is back in our faces, hawking a bunch of absolute bullshit. It's wellness, it's self-help, it's promising you everything but immortality, and it's absolute garbage from an absolute know-nothing. We also have some more bombshell updates from the Diddy trial with more celebrity names included in witness testimony, along with some ridiculousness and our unique time together listener email. Plus, my friend, the amazing Kinsey Scoffield of the Kinsey Scoffield Unfiltered channel, where I am lucky enough to appear regularly, is going to join us here to talk some great setbacks for Meghan Markle. You know, we don't wish others ill, but there's karmic justice, and I think we're all down with it. I think we all get with it. Okay, so all of that coming up. This episode is brought to you by Masa Chips. This is an interesting thing I didn't know. Did you guys know that chips and fries used to be cooked in tallow up until the 1990s when these big corporations switched to cheap processed seed oils? I didn't know that, okay? And seed oils, according to most recent reports, they're not that great for you. And they make up about 20% of the average American's daily calories. So these recent studies have linked seed oils to metabolic health issues, inflammation, which is like reversible. You know, you don't want it. So Masa decided to do something about it, and they created a really tasty and solid, delicious tortilla chip. It's got just 3 ingredients, and none of them are seed oils, okay? Just organic nixtamalized corn, sea salt, and 100% grass-fed beef tallow. And I can tell you firsthand because I've had them. I had them just last night. Mexican food is sacred to me, you know? So a good chip is like worth its weight in gold. These chips, they not only avoid all of the bad stuff, they taste incredible. They are crunchy. They are sturdy. You know when you've got like a nice chunk of guac and it starts like breaking off on the chip, or it's like sliding off the chip. That's not happening here, okay? This is not amateur hour with Masa chips. You're going to be getting like a high-end experience when you're scooping up your guac or your salsa, and you're going to feel, when you're finished with your meal, satisfied and light and energetic. You're not going to have a crash. You're not going to have bloating. You're not going to feel sluggish. You know, that all that stuff that comes with something that might feel slightly greasy. It's not happening here. And an added bonus is that the beef tallow makes the chips much more satiating, which means you're going to rather feel full faster, and you're going to feel full for longer. So you won't find yourself uncontrollably binging and, you know, in the next hour or so. So Masa chips. Masa chips are beloved by tens of thousands of customers, and they've been endorsed by industry-leading health and nutrition experts like Ben Greenfield and Gary Brecka. Ready to give Masa a try? Go to masachips.com/Maureen and use code Maureen for 25% off your first order. That's masachips.com/Maureen, code Maureen for 25% off your first order. Troublemakers. I saw this the other morning and I immediately began taking notes because I knew I was coming right here to discuss this with all of you post haste. Hoda Kotb, okay? For those of you who are in other countries and are likely blessedly unfamiliar, I am sure you do know the type. I am sure you encounter this type on some of your morning shows, okay? This woman was a co-host on the Today Show, which is one of the 3 once huge, once dominant, now increasingly irrelevant morning shows on American network television. I'm not saying this to be mean, but it's the truth, and she's asking for it because she's in our face trying to sell us some bullshit. She's one of the dumbest people to ever luck into this very coveted, overpaid gig. She's no astronaut, okay? Let's put it that way. And she got the job, and this is very important because her predecessor, Matt Lauer, was a known sex pest who got Me Too'd around the time of Harvey and was, in my opinion, very credibly accused of rape. Like a violent, violent rape in the workplace that reportedly, allegedly, sent a woman to the hospital. Okay? Like the kind of violations that involved him reportedly, allegedly, having a secret button installed on the underside of his desk so he could lock women in his office before they had any idea what might be about to happen. And if you want to tell me that nobody knew, somebody had to install that button, okay? There was work done in Matt Lauer's office. Somebody signed off on that. Now, Matt Lauer, by the way, is someone that Katie Couric, that other Today Show scourge turned podcaster, defended in her memoir, the one where she's barefoot on the cover. And this, by the way, is a theme, the barefoot morning show host, because Hoda, in her new announcement, is also shot on her couch barefoot. She's also shot in the new People magazine. She befouls the cover with her bare feet. Nobody wants to see your bare feet. It doesn't make you relatable. Put them away. Okay, so anyway, Hoda announced that she was quitting the Today Show months ago, and she left finally in January. Now, her stated reason was that she's 60 years old. She is a single mother of 2 young adopted daughters, ages 6 and 8. And she has finally realized the important things in life, namely that time with your young children is fleeting and it's unrecoverable. And so she was stepping out of the spotlight to be a great mom. Now, let's talk the real reason, okay? This is our real talk about fake people. The real reason I suspect is that Hoda was facing a major salary cut by NBC execs to a paycheck that was not reflective of her skill set, which again, I find very limited. At best, it's limited. Now, reports vary, but Hoda Kotb was either pulling in $7 to $8 million a year or as much as $20 million a year, a figure I frankly find hard to believe, but those are the reports. And finally, someone at NBC got the smelling salts under their nose and was like, what are we paying this moron for? Like, why are we giving her this amount of money? She's reading from a teleprompter and she's talking to like B-list celebrities about self-actualizing, So a pay cut was coming. She was told this was imminent and she left, reportedly. Now, I knew in my bones that this absence from the culture would not last. Because where else is a basic bitch like Hoda Kotb going to get the regular dopamine hits, the regular shots to the arteries that she got on the Today Show, where she was mingling with celebrities and getting her professional hair and makeup done and having tourists lose their shit outside the glass walls of the Today Show at the mere glimpse of the great Hoda Kotb. Okay, school runs in suburbia were never going to cut it. Okay, so now 4 months later, she's back. She's back already. Back on the Today Show set, back on the 4th hour of Today with her pal Jenna, she's on the cover of People. We'll get to that. Okay, what does she have to offer us? What could have incited this sudden, I don't think since Tom Brady, we've seen a quicker, exit from retirement. So Hoda's back with an app. Now, she tells us that this is not just any app, okay? Because we're not doing Today Show and People magazine if it's just some regular janky app, okay? So she's back doing her little media tour, and she went back to the Today Show where everybody's like, oh, we're all friends, chummy, chummy, kissy, kissy. Trust me, it is a snake pit. And there are no antidotes for the venom that comes out of the people who inhabit these shows, okay? And it was great to see some of Hoda's, she's marketing joy, okay? And we're going to get to it. But, the bitterness seeped through. She couldn't hide it, and I love this. I love this for her. Now, her app, her Joy 101 app. This is what she called it, which is like it's as basic as she is. Joy 101. Joy 101. Okay. Now this is content that is quote unquote curated. This is the word she uses on the art on the homepage for her app. And that word is always a tell for me. It's always a huge red flag because that's a word that dumb people use to make themselves sound smart. Okay. Instead of just saying it's collected or even you want to be a little fancy, say aggregated, but no curated. Now we're like an art world person. We're very rarefied. We're curating things. Okay. So Hoda's curating this shit for you. Okay. And if you buy that, so this is snake oil. This is snake oil, and she is now slotted herself firmly into a world that we at the Nerve are dedicated to destroying. Okay, it's my own personal Death Star. This stuff, and I'm taking it down, and you're all gonna take it down with me. So okay, this is her premise. She ostensibly leaves morning television to focus on her small children, one of whom she tells us in this little media tour has type 1 diabetes. And I don't know this family, but I doubt that child wants that out into the world. Okay, I doubt that child wants to enter every future classroom or sporting event or gym class with everybody freaking knowing that she's got type 1 diabetes, okay? And the thing that Hoda's telling us is that diagnosis really just shook her to her core. That diagnosis really reoriented her priorities, so much so that she's building a business from the ground up. Remind you of anybody out west in Montecito? We'll get there. Don't worry. So let's take a look at Hoda on the Today Show mothership with Savannah Guthrie. These two are giving each other an epic tongue bath. It's like over the Mensa level conversations they claim to have been having with each other on the regular. Watch this.
That we had daily that I miss like to my core were such a building block for what I'm building now because it's find out what you love. That's really what I've been seeking too.
What the fuck does that mean? I'm serious. What the actual fuck is she talking about? What give me a specific anything. Give me a tiny tether to hang my intellectual hat on. She can't fucking do it, but it gets better. It gets better, okay? And again, as stated, these are not nice people. I have it on good authority from multiple sources that they're complete bitches. They're complete bitches. And you have to really, is it that surprising that Hoda off screen would be kind of a miserable person? No, because it's always the people who are telling you how happy they are and how joyful they are and successful and self-actualized they are. It's always the opposite with these people. Again, it's my Buddha rule. You see a Buddha in someone's front yard, run, okay? So then they air this pre-produced package. You guys are going to die. You're going to die. It looks like it was shot in Hoda's home, which has a lot of white furniture, which is, again, highly suspect. You have small children and you have white furniture. It's a fun home for kids, okay? But my favorite tell that we will see is that she has bookshelves without books. Okay? Bookshelves without books. I am sorry, but I refuse to take any kind of advice from someone who doesn't read books. It's like John Waters had that great advice years ago. He said, if you go home with somebody and you see they don't have books in their house, leave. Wise advice, okay? So listen to Hoda talk about having what I consider truly an outsized reaction in a breath work class.
In the middle of this breathing class, I exploded into tears. And I literally freaked out, but I also felt clarity and calm and energy. Like I felt clear.
Do you know what other cult uses the word clear? And trust me, Hoda wants to be your cult leader. She wants your adoration and she wants your money and she wants you in her freaking pyramid scheme. I think it's a pyramid scheme, just my opinion, okay? Scientology, they love the word clear, going clear, okay? Now, if you are having that kind of a reaction in a breathwork class, which is something rich people with way too much time on their hands and way too much disposable income will do, they'll go take a breathwork class. If you're bursting into tears, something is deeply wrong. with you. Something is deeply amiss. Okay. You should be seeking professional help, not telling people to listen to your bullshit. Okay. And by the way, her crew fucking hates her. And you could tell because look at how they shot her. Look at how they let her appear in that promo reel with no makeup. The lighting is shitty. The angle is terrible. She looks like she's like 90 years old. They fucking hate her. Okay. Moving on. Here's a bit of the so-called wisdom that she feels compelled to impart to us. Listen.
When you quiet the noise around, you can think and you can hear yourself.
Wow, when it's quiet, you can think. It's Seneca, you know. It's fucking Aristotle over here. Okay. Okay, next. She's discovered meditation. And I quote, this is Hoda. I thought people who meditated just had free time. They do. They do. They do. You fucking idiot. Next, she says, I became a seeker. I'm someone who is looking. The wave I'm riding right now is magical for me. The narcissism. I wonder how her kids feel about this wave. I really do. Because there's nothing like having your mother publicly proclaim for months on end on national television that she needs to go home and spend time with you because you're the priorities. And she gets home and within, let's be generous, 16 weeks, she's like, I'm fucking bored. Just my opinion. You kids are boring me. This is not for me. Like, go hang out with a nanny. We never hear about the help, but you know, okay. So next up, she's going to talk about this very contradiction, you know, for someone like Hoda who might say, I'm too cynical. You know, I should cut her some slack. Listen to her explanation for this.
I mean, now my kids are like, get it. But I don't care because I get to bear witness to their life.
What the fuck do you mean you get to bear witness to their life? You're their parent. That's like called parenting. Okay. Bearing witness. Again, all these these fancy terms, like they don't mean anything. They're spoken by fake people. Fake people talk like this. It's fake people who talk like this. Okay. And by the way, the Today Show has always in the past several years, really, it is really a hate watch for me. I watch it because I need to know this stuff and report back to you and send up the flares when we're in an emergency situation as we are right now. But the Today Show cast, to me, it's like, do you know that band, The Arcade Fire? There's 80 members of The Arcade Fire. I could never figure out how they made any money. The Today Show is like The Arcade Fire. They have 5 hosts sitting on the set interviewing one C-list actor you've never heard of or one bullshit gift guide expert or one financial expert, and the advice is always incredibly insulting. It's you know what you should do? You should pay off your credit card bills in full at the end of every month. You should do that. You know what else is a good idea? You should have a 401k. That's the kind of advice they're dishing out over there. Okay. So yeah, I think Hoda really absorbed a lot of intellectual proprietary knowledge that's worth going to her website for. Okay. So then off she went to the 4th hour of the Today Show. Now she used to host this Today Show with the 4th hour with the equally insufferable Jenna Bush Hager, who is also a Nepo baby. Okay. She's the granddaughter of George Bush. And then she is the daughter of H.W. Do I have that right? George W. Sorry. It's H.W. and George W. Okay. Whatever. Now, Hoda used to be the big cheese, and Jenna was the baby who came in, and Hoda ran the show. And you knew the status because Hoda would walk out, and she would be on the right, and Jenna would be on her left. And it was Hoda who would announce, hey, everybody, today is Friday, May 30th. And, we're talking today about this. And then Hoda would take the right chair and Hoda would lead off the discussion. And how the tables have turned. The indignities that Hoda has had to swallow in promoting her Joy 101 app. So Jenna walks out on the right and she's got Hoda on the left and she's clasping her by the shoulder so tightly. You would think that it was Hamas leading a hostage out to the Red Cross. Jenna's making sure that Hoda's not going to make a break for it and try to upstage her. This is Jenna's fucking show now. Get it, Hoda? So they walk out to the table and Jenna's the one saying today's date and today, whatever. And they sit down and then Hoda couldn't help herself. Okay. She had a remark about not being seated in the right fucking chair. Okay. Watch this.
This is your seat now?
I moved over. I can't remember why, but I did.
Still.
Okay. So I'm telling you, It's joy all over the place, right? It's joy. We're not noticing like the tiny things. We're not noticing things about status. We're not noticing that, like, you're just a guest now. You're just shilling your shit like any other huckster. No, Okay. So now People Magazine. Okay, she's on the cover here. Her two small kids. Again, I do not think children this small should be up for public consumption. If I'm in America's living room every weekday, nobody's seeing my kids. It's not happening. Okay. But here we are. It's a whole exclamation point, new exclamation point, Hoda exclamation point. Oh my God. She's 60 and she has yet another fucking incarnation. Trust me. Okay. This is the same as the old Hoda because there's nobody in there. There's nobody home. Nobody's in there. She's still talking the same gibberish that she was always talking with Jenna Bush Hager about finding your authentic self and taking up space, which was the name of her podcast, by the way. I don't even know if she is that garbage anymore. And just leaning into shit like as she ever was. Okay, there's no specifics ever to be found in this garbage language. It's just a bunch of self-help platitudes, okay? And, again, not for nothing, but if she was really so happy, if she really had this secret to a happy life, she wouldn't be seeking out the nearest television camera with the force of a heat-seeking missile, okay? She'd be hanging out with those kids in anonymity, or she'd just be writing a book. Write a book while they're at school, see them in the morning, see them do a podcast from your house, while they're at school. But no. We have to be a media mogul. Okay. Let's keep going because, again, it is our collective mission, the troublemakers, to destroy this stuff that is so, so toxic. It's so unfair because it's aimed it's aimed at men too, but they are really speaking the lingua franca of women, okay? And it's aimed at women who are struggling, whether it's financially or professionally or emotionally. And Hoda is incredibly privileged, but she never talks about all the help that she has, the vast riches that allow her to sit around for months on end, the nannies, the gardeners, the housekeepers, the private cars and drivers, all of which I'm sure she has. So she's out there shilling the shit to the average woman at the cost of $16.99 per month or $99 annually. And what do you get for that? I'm going to show you. I'm going to fucking show you. Watch this.
But it feels like right now you're living in a truth that feels so illuminating.
Yes.
Talk about what that is.
First of all, how could she even talk about what that is? Because I don't even know what that question is. I don't know what the fuck that question is. You're living in a truth that feels so illuminating. This living in truth shit, or a truth, or my truth, or your truth. There's a truth, okay? We're not living in fucking Rashomon. There's a truth, okay? And if you're just living your life and being a decent person, that's the answer. That's it. It's that simple. Be a decent person. Try not to hurt people, okay? Anyway, moving on. We've got more to say. This brain trust is going to continue. Let's go.
A lot of things kind of came to light, and I think it comes when you reach a point in your life where you're like, where am I going to fix my gaze? Like, where is my energy and my love going to flow to in this moment? And you know that I wanted to spend more time with my kids.
Yeah.
And there are many reasons for that. We want to catch all the moments. We don't want to miss anything.
Okay. So again, she's talking about I'm sparing you. It goes on and on because there's a lot of verbosity to cover up the lack of actual thought or actual genuine emotion because she's lying to you. I'm telling you right now, just my opinion. She's full of shit. She's talking about having this eureka moment about why she needs to leave the Today Show. I mean, again, it's morning television. One of the greatest insults ever leveled against Barbara Walters, the late Barbara Walters, was that the most dangerous place on planet Earth was between Barbara Walters and a television camera. And I'm telling you, it's the same for fucking Hoda Kotb, okay? She's talking about having this eureka moment when her daughter was hospitalized, this little kid, and how Hoda, not her kid, but Hoda, found the bravery, the valiance to not put all of her worry on this sick child, but she's going to talk all about it on television again. Okay, great. Nice mothering. I think it's great. Just my opinion. Tell me if this makes any sense to you, because I don't think I'm missing a trick here, and I don't think you guys are either. And I truly wonder where this woman got her seed money. What venture capitalist listens to this utter banality of a trite excuse for a human being and said, you know what? I'd love to shove millions of dollars into this. I would sooner burn it than give it to Hoda. Okay, I would. Now we're going to take a look at her homepage for this great new endeavor, Joy 101. Okay, let's look at it's called Welcome to the Universe of Joy. The universe. Okay. So in her intro on this web page, she's taking us on her journey because everything's a fucking journey. I maintain and will till I go to my grave that the only journey any of us take is from point A to point B. Okay. This word, I blame Bachelor Nation. Moving on. So Hoda says, quote, and I quote, okay, because it's all very valuable utterances. So here I am in my 60s. I'm stepping into this incredible chapter. Again, the verbiage, I'm stepping into this incredible chapter. We're always stepping. There's always a chapter. I don't know how you can step into a chapter. It feels like a mixed metaphor to me, but what do I know? And I feel so incredibly joyful and it feels great. Again, we're just repeating ourselves. We're just, we're happy, blah, 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 blah. Okay. A casual Hoda, there's no professional hair and makeup. There's professional hair and makeup. There's professional lighting. And she's just talking about, reaching this she's entering this new chapter. And it's an interesting choice of words because, again, look at those bookshelves. There's not a book to be found on those bookshelves. Okay. Don't speak of chapters if you don't read chapter books. I don't think you do. Okay. Finally, we're going to let Hoda have the last word. And then I'm going to, we'll move on to more, frankly, just engaging stuff like the Diddy trial. Okay, let's look at this.
But I realized there's something here. So I was thinking where could I put all this stuff together?
Yes.
And share it.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking, let's make something. And we called it Joy 101.
I'm obsessed with it.
Joy101.com. Joy 101, the app. It's so weird. It's but we've been talking about it and
working on it.
And working really hard. And to be able to work from your home.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, it's simple. Because I was this stuff's so woo-woo, I don't want to go near it.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, I was no, it's not. It's just it gives you clarity and energy.
It's prayer, too.
Yes.
It's meditation. Yes. It's all of the things. It's help with sleep. It's all the things we know.
Nobody's sleeping.
I know.
Here's the truth. Everybody's exhausted.
Yes.
Everybody is tired. Everybody wants a break.
Yeah, Hoda, everybody would like a break from you. You told us you were leaving. Please, take your fucking joy. Take your fucking breath work and your meditation and your prayer and your Joy 101. I can't believe it. She sounds like a simpleton. She sounds like those kids in class you just feel sorry for. They're never going to get it, just take it all, take your bullshit and leave. Okay. Oh, and by the way, Hoda also announced on this little tour, 30 Rock, she's not getting the Kelly. She didn't say I'm not getting it. Okay. She said, I'm not going to be taking over the Kelly Clarkson show, which is a monster hit. Okay. She said she's not going to be taking that over when Kelly leaves, despite all these weird, random, sudden reports that NBC was just dying. They were thinking, could we possibly get Hoda Kotb to do it? And I just kept reading these and I'm like, this source is fucking Hoda Kotb. Nobody misses this woman. Okay. But, again, just my opinion. I don't know. But anyway, so Hoda, she's not getting it. She's not getting it. She's not getting that. So now we're doing our little fucking app and good luck with that. If you don't spend your money on this stuff, okay, I want it to tank because this stuff needs to, again, be eradicated from the culture. She's a huckster and she's a loser. She's a loser. If you want to read a little bit more on this, I columned on it over at the Daily Mail. It's good for a laugh. Okay. Next up, we've got Celebrity Scandal. We've got the latest in the Diddy trial and we've got your mail. Father's Day is coming up fast, and if you are eyeing another tie or another gas station gift card, you're not really giving it your all. Let's just be honest, okay? You're not. You just stop right there, okay? You can do better, and the father in your life should really get something better. Don't you agree? I think we're all on the same page. So I'm going to put you onto something that actually delivers. You may have heard Megyn Kelly talking about it or Joe Rogan, and now you're going to hear about it from me. It's firecracker.farm. Okay, this isn't a mass-produced flavorless filler. This is handcrafted and genuinely special. Flavor incredible. Packaging, I showed it to you guys the other day. It's really thoughtful. It's really masculine. It's really elegant. It's black. It's sturdy. It's not like Meghan Markle's packaging that falls apart in your hands. You know, you get it and it's got some weight to it and some substance. And you know the dad who gets this gift is going to be like, wow, like this person really loves me. This person gave it some thought. Okay. Here's the deal. They don't make a lot of this stuff. When it's gone, it's gone. So Father's Day is around the corner and, you know, the chances it's going to sell out are very, very high. So what you need to do is go to Firecracker Farm Hot Salt. This isn't just seasoning. It is a stainless steel grinder. It's so elegant. It's so cool. It's really modern looking and it's packed with these coarse sea salt flakes. And it's got this perfect blend of hot peppers. So the result is this like really bold, savory, like elevation of everything you put it on. You can put on steak, you can put on eggs, you put it on veggies, put it on whatever you want, you know? And they've got different heat levels too, so you can match his taste. This, my friends, is not a last minute Amazon panic buy, which we all can see from a mile away. We all know when we get them. We're like, all right, it was the last minute. This gift is thoughtful. This gift is unique. And this gift is unforgettable. Okay. But you need to act now. Go to firecracker.farm. Yes, .farm, F-A-R-M, and use code The Nerve for a special discount. You're welcome. Okay. Now go get that dad in your life something he will actually use and love. We are back and I have lots of updates for you. But first up, Diddy. Okay, we are coming to the close of week 3 and we had a woman named Mia. This seems to be a fake name, a sort of pseudonym, testifying on Thursday. Now, she is another alleged victim. Per the live updates reported by the New York Post, Mia and Cassie Ventura and Diddy were on a trip in Parrot Cay in 2012. And Mia says she was awoken by Cassie one night and Cassie was, quote, running and screaming. Mia testified that Ventura said to her, "You got to help me. He's going to kill me," meaning Diddy, who was then going by Puff Daddy. And then Mia said she never reported to the cops any of these incidents. She witnessed multiple with Diddy because, quote, "I thought he was above the police." Okay, that means that I interpret it as she thought he had deep connections to the cops and not just the NYPD. I'm going to guess LAPD, Miami PD, you know, wherever he was most constantly throwing these freak offs. It seems that people in that world knew the level of danger, frankly, that he posed. Now, what also came up in testimony, Prince, the late, great Prince, who hosted an exclusive party. It was probably after an award show or something. But anyway, Mia and Cassie snuck out. They snuck out. I guess they were living with Combs at the time. And what also came up in testimony was that any of the women who lived in his residences, like his staff, his assistants, what have you, were told by Diddy per testimony that they were not permitted to lock their bedroom doors. Okay, and as a woman, there are few things more chilling. That is a man telling you he owns you, okay? And if he wants to do something to you, he's going to do it. Meanwhile, all the men who worked for Diddy and who were in his employ, who lived there, were allowed to lock their doors. I believe one of them at least had like a deadbolt and another had like surveillance cameras and maybe weapons. I mean, they all knew, okay? So anyway, Mia and Cassie go to this Prince party and Combs catches wind of this. And you can imagine, he rushes over there. He finds Cassie at this party. He throws her to the floor. And it was Prince's bodyguards who got Diddy off of Cassie, okay? There was more testimony from Mia that she tried to stop another Cassie beating. Diddy had like thrown her. It was another one of like throwing across the bed. We saw an image provided by the feds of a deep gash above Cassie's eyebrow, like a deep gash. And so Mia says she tried to intervene, but Diddy, quote, he threw me against the wall so quick and so easily, I realized we were in real danger. This is really terrifying stuff. There was more testimony that he had beaten, I don't know if it was Mia or another woman, really, really viciously inside of his closet. Metaphor of all metaphors, because word in the hip hop community, lo these many years, is that Sean Combs is really a gay man and would explain all that rage towards women, but that he beat, so it might have been his assistant, Capricorn Clark. These names are just like crazy. Anyway, the Post was reporting that she testified, I guess this was on Tuesday, because this is their Wednesday edition, that he took her to Central Park in the dead of night, and that is a terrifying place to be. New York is not what it once was, trust me. On her first day working for Combs, reading from this article, Clark said he took her to a deserted Central Park after dark and threatened to kill her over her links to his rival Suge Knight, who managed Death Row Records, who's also, I believe, still behind bars, a very, very dangerous guy, Suge Knight. She told the jury that Diddy said to her, if anything happened vis-a-vis Suge Knight, he would have to kill me. Also, after Diddy found some valuable jewelry going missing while Clark had transported them, she testified that one of his henchmen came to her home and, quote, brought her to the empty Midtown, I don't know what building this is, an empty Midtown building where a heavy-set man chain-smoking cigarettes and drinking black coffee. I mean, it's right out of the Mafia. Like, Sean Combs has seen too many episodes of The Sopranos. So this guy smoking and drinking black coffee greets her on the 6th floor. He said, this is her testimony, if you fail this test, this polygraph test, as to whether you stole this stuff or not, they're going to throw you in the East River, okay? Now, according to this report, Combs is hearing this testimony in court and he's shaking his head. He's just a guy with a Bible. He doesn't know how the fuck he got here. Clark described the wise guy threat leaving her, quote, petrified. I was told I was not going to be able to leave until they got to the bottom of this. So her life has been threatened directly, and she's supposed to take a polygraph test, which measures the truthfulness of what you're saying by your fucking blood pressure, by your heartbeat. The other stuff that came out, Capricorn Clark also testified that Sean Diddy Combs, again, threatened to kill Kid Cudi, and he came to her apartment where he had apparently never been before with a gun in his hand. He was livid because Cudi was also dating Cassie. And he said, quote, get dressed. We're going to kill this N-word. She says he'd never come over to my house the entire time I'd known him. I'd never seen him with a weapon. Do I believe that? I don't know. And then her testimony was very strange. If I recall correctly, he had this enormous gun. He's like, you're coming with me. You're coming with me to kill this guy. She has to get in the vehicle with him. But I believe, according to her testimony, he made her sit on his lap with the gun. It's all very, very strange. And then this is my favorite detail. Okay, these details, it's all in the details. So, the alleged firebombing, the Molotov cocktail that was tossed into Kid Cudi's Porsche, the problem with that failed complete. That was supposed to really just go up like a firebomb. Apparently what was used was a silk handkerchief. And, just note to Diddy for the next time, when you're going to hurl a Molotov cocktail, silk is not your material because it doesn't catch fire. You want something flammable. This is what happens when you enter the 1%, because you're not like fucking shopping at H&M anymore, and you're not buying materials that are synthetic and highly flammable. You're at the Hermeses of the world, and you lose touch. So, Anyway, okay, we have an update on the Macron face shove, which, I can't get over this thing. And I didn't realize at first, and then it was pointed out to me that it wasn't just one disembodied hand of his pedophile wife coming at him. Again, She was 40, he was 15. She was a teacher, he was a student at the same school. She had a child who was one of his classmates, pedophile. Wasn't just one hand, but it was two. It was two. And we got a lip reader to tell us what Brigitte, who is, I think, 70 now, said to her she's 72, said to her much younger husband. She said, "Stay away, you loser." Okay. Again, as I said, Edward Albee, these people are fucking crazy. Okay. Brad Pitt is on the cover of GQ magazine. Someone online said he looks like an old fisherman, he kind of does. I believe, I don't have firsthand knowledge, but I do believe he recently, within the past year or so, had a facelift. It's a really good one. Because he looks tight, but not overly so. And he looks refreshed, but he still has wrinkles and he still, he looks great. Now, I can never look at Brad Pitt the same way again. I used to love him, but I read Angelina Jolie's complaint about what went down on that plane, and I believe her, and it was brutal. It was terrifying. And, I don't believe it was the first time Brad Pitt probably did that, because again, when you're doing stuff on a plane, ask the Macrons in front of people staffing that plane. You've done it before. He was allegedly, Brad Pitt, pouring beer over Angie as she was hiding under a blanket with one of the kids. And he allegedly, according to Angie, grabbed her, I believe, by the throat and threw her up against a bathroom wall. And one of the kids tried to jump on him to get him off of her. And then he threw one of the kids off and he called another kid as looking like a school shooter. I mean, anyway, Brad Pitt he survived it. He survived it all, and he remains kind of beloved, but he addressed this with GQ for the first time about, the divorce, which was, the coverage was it was the equivalent of, Pearl Harbor or 9/11. I remember when we broke the news, I was working at the New York Post and I looked at the Daily Mail at the time, and their font, it was like a world war had broken out, Angie divorces, whatever. Anyway, they've resolved this divorce after 8 years, I think, at least. Was it a big deal? Brad Pitt is asked. I mean, you're in litigation for 8 years and you're fighting for custody of your minor children, and your reputation and your career is on the line. Seems like it would be a big deal, but Brad Pitt's cool, man. He's cool. He's too cool for that. He says, no, quote, no, I don't think it was that major of a thing. Just something coming to fruition. Smart. He's smart. He used the word fruition. Legally. Yeah, we know. That's what litigation is. It's a legal process. Anyway, okay, that's enough of Brad. We also have Lindsay Lohan. The segment we did recently on these female celebrities who say that their beauty secrets are water and sleep and nutrition and meditation, as we just discussed. Hoda, at least Hoda's not giving us her beauty secrets. Wonder why. She's saying that after years of what we all saw, which looked like hardcore drug and alcohol abuse, and we all saw her rotted teeth, the kind of teeth that usually only manifest in someone that young if they're doing seriously hard drugs. Meth ruins teeth. I'm not saying that's what she was doing, but I'm just saying meth ruins teeth. And then she got a brand new smile, and whoever did that work did pretty good work, I will say. But now she's back and she's looking better than ever. And she's being asked about how this glow up has come to be. And you know what she says? Diet. Quote, my skin changed after having my son. It got really sensitive. That's what really made me change my whole routine and diet and everything. She cited green juice. She cited ice cold water, pickled beets. That's a new one. I haven't heard pickled beets before. That's what she's doing. Anyway, okay, to cap this little thing off, it's Glennon Doyle, another one we just took to the woodshed with her. She's a grown woman with a baby voice who has no known experience in human psychology, no education to that effect, who is another self-appointed self-help guru. She's got another bullshit book out. She recently went on Monica Lewinsky's podcast, and blathered about her identities. And by the way, as discussed with Link Lauren in the most recent show, I think Monica Lewinsky and her podcast Reclaiming does not really have a space in the culture. I mean, her thing is about reclaiming your identity when it's stolen from you. What happened to Monica Lewinsky happened over 30 years ago. You need to bring us something new, okay? Stay all you want, but bring us something new. Instead, she's bringing us this again, if you think Hoda is a moron, oh my fucking God, watch this.
So not too long ago, a friend sent me a gift in the form of an astrologist who came to my house. And my whole life, I've been very connected to my Pisces identity. Okay? Mm-hmm. It's like, no matter what went wrong, I was like, well, I'm a Pisces. I can't possibly check my email. I can't possibly call you back. I can't do taxes. I'm a Pisces. Like, I just, this freaking astrologist comes and tells me, I'm going to tell you something that might be a little jarring. And that is because you were born at 5/21 on March 21st, you're not a Pisces. You're an Aries.
Oh my God. It's like Mariska Hargitay finding out that the man who raised her isn't her biological father, like years and years later. It's like Jack Nicholson finding out that the woman he thought was his mother was actually his aunt or his grandmother, and the woman he thought was his sister was his mother. Like, that's the kind of stuff that will shake you to your foundation. But, Glennon Doyle, again, you want to take advice for her. Caveat emptor. Okay, we're going to get to audience emails now. Our favorite part, at least my favorite part. Okay, I have this email from a guy named Mike. He says, this is amazing. Maureen, your show has now become my first listen in a growing list of podcasts. It has become a regimen for stress detox. I love this. I'm so happy to hear this. Okay, Mike would like, as a fellow self-identified troublemaker, that's the only way any of us are identifying around here, okay, as troublemakers, I would like to throw another insufferable celebrity in your path. Please do, Mike. Pedro Pascal has begun polluting Mike's social media news feeds with constant virtue signaling. He is like a woke superbug for which there is no cure. His constant lamenting that we shouldn't hate or fear immigrants was so condescending at the Cannes Film Festival. Well, Pedro, I am also a first-generation immigrant, and my father fled Greece while it was in the midst of a communist civil war where my family was always in danger. My family was so poor that my grandfather cast off my dad at 16 to make money in the U.S. so his sisters wouldn't wind up as prostitutes, and they literally had a fucking tree growing in the middle of their farmhouse, which is real poverty. But poor Pedro at the Cannes Film Festival protectively and vulnerably clutches his chest as if he was sexually abused by an ICE agent. Mike, you are a natural born writer, sexually abused by an ICE agent. I love you. Jill T. She's writing from Ireland. In Ireland, the arts and the love of literature runs in our blood. We rank among the highest across the globe in terms of literary capabilities and literacy. It's clear you are of Irish descent. Thank you. If my name didn't tip you off, my foul mouth might. Okay. She talks about instilling a love of reading in her daughter, who is now like in the top 5% at Dublin University. Good for you, Jill. You need to start recommending books, Maureen. I certainly trust your opinion, and I think others will too. As promised, we will get there. I'm working on it. I promise you. Okay, this is another woman named Anna. You saying to me you have Irish roots. I often joke that babies here in Ireland can swear before they talk properly. Only an Irishman can make an almost totally expletive-riddled sentence make it still make sense. And I'm eager to see the Bono doc on Apple this weekend. I'm a fan. I can't help it. Also, some of you pointed out to me that Bono does have a Nepo baby. Her name is Eve Hewson. She's an actress. I don't include her in that. I'm sorry. I think she's very talented. I think she would have gotten there anyway. Okay. Sarah writes, we got a lot of feedback to the I got so much feedback to that Sex in the City segment we did and that SJP segment we did. And I think it was a catharsis for many of us. Okay, we all really do feel the same way. I remember reading somewhere, this is Sarah, that Kim Cattrall not only complained about SJP's nasty attitude on that set, but that SJP, now this is alleged, would also refuse to let Kim cover up during intimate scenes, while Sarah Jessica Parker always got to wear a bra. Yeah, that's true. On another note, I loved your comment on Diddy's burqa last week. I couldn't stop laughing when you asked your colleague from the Daily Mail if a naked, oiled up Diddy who entered a sex party with a burqa on had a bejeweled burqa or if he was a minimalist. I thought so too. I just hit my hanging fireplace. That's what that is. If you can't see it, that's what you just heard. Okay. Sex in the City. You really nailed it. I thought you might appreciate, this is from Georgiana. What a beautiful name. I thought you might appreciate this bit of trivia or outrage. The season 2 Subway posters for And Just Like That were designed to mirror The Last Supper with SJP in the Jesus position. Oh my God. I believe it. Fiona Katz. Your show is a breath of fresh air in this topsy-turvy world we inhabit. I love your judicious use of expletives. Thank you. I too was mad about Christopher Hitchens. A great love. I feel sure he would have wanted to be friends with you. That is one of the kindest things anyone has ever said to me. Loved Christopher Hitchens. Maureen, this is from Sarah. I just stalked your resume and you wrote for Sassy. I did. I was like a teenage intern. I was such a fan of that magazine. I would wait eagerly every month for it to come to my house in suburban Long Island. And I would like save parts of it and read it piecemeal. And then I loved it so much, I just cold called them one day, or I wrote them a letter and I said, I want to come intern for you guys. I got a call like a month later and they were like, want to come in? And I went and I started working there and I loved it. And it was such a formative experience for me. This woman goes on to say, Sarah, I was a Sassy super fan. I got so many good recommendations from Christina Kelly, who was really my first most important mentor. I felt like such a cool kid getting the in from everyone in New York City. Me too. And it was Christina Kelly, the genius behind Cute Band Alert. Not for nothing. Okay. Joe Christian, if this is your real name, it's a good one. Love your show and mastery of the English language. Thank you. Congratulations on being an astronaut. Thank you. Thank you. I'm curious of something. When you do your show, you glance to the left a lot. What's over there? Just my thoughts. You know, it's a tick. I'm trying to get rid of it. But I'm usually searching for a thought. Okay. Hi, Maureen. This is Holly. I love the podcast and all of the Troublemakers. Do you suppose the nasty J-Lo performance, which we talked about on the last episode, I think we talked about it with Link, maybe not. Anyway, the nasty J-Lo performance at the AMAs was really her gaslighting everyone to say, this is my version of a Diddy party freak off. It's okay. Everyone is doing it. Great theory. Remember, J-Lo was involved with Diddy romantically for a substantial amount of time and was with him the night of that nightclub shooting where a woman got shot in the face. Okay. A woman got shot in the face and J-Lo and Diddy got arrested and somebody else took the fall. I will always believe this. The hip hop community knows it's true. Allegedly, someone else took the fall. And J-Lo was arrested and she demanded that the cops go get her cuticle cream. Okay, that's the kind of piece of shit she is. Now, I called that desperate performance she gave at the AMAs the other night a career in its death rattle. One of you troublemakers corrected me. You said, really, it's more akin to a death jiggle. You're right. You're right. This is from Martina. I hate self-help and pretty much follow Oscar Wilde's advice that the best thing you can do with advice is to pass it on. Also love Oscar Wilde. Your comment that you run as soon as you see somebody has put a Buddha in their yard is genius. I have found it to be the ultimate red flag for control freaks and or psychological messes. This I have found in my experience is extremely true. Another one, Sex and the City. Tina, marketing luxury products to women falsely leads them to believe that getting ahead with the right handbag is a thing, and it causes financial suicide or instability that is not supporting women. It is not what is hanging off your arm. It is what's placed between your ears that supports opportunities for self-reliance and freedom. I could not agree more, and that is all the time we have for your emails this week. Keep them coming to me. I am reading them all. The whole team is on top of everything as far as you guys, what you want to hear, what you want to see, what you want us to cover. And also remember, like, subscribe, and tell those in your life about The Nerve. The faster we grow, the faster we can keep coming at you with new content. And reach me anytime, any hour of the day. I'm like Meghan Markle with a 6-year-old missing a tooth, you know? Come, talk to me. Maureen at devilmaycaremedia.com. And next up, we've got Kinsey Scoffield, the one and only, who will be talking through the latest quote unquote learns, as Meghan Markle likes to say, of her mediocre failures, quite frankly. See you after the break. We've all had days when skin feels dull and hydration doesn't stick and energy is all over the place. And I don't care what Lindsay Lohan says, no amount of water or skincare or coffee can seem to help. That is where Peak's Radiant Skin Duo comes to the rescue And this thing is a game changer, okay? The Radiant Skin Duo is doctor recommended and is trusted by experts like Dr. Mark Hyman, Dr. Jason Fung, and Dr. Will Cole. This stuff supports whole body wellness from the inside out. And it's got over 15,000 five-star reviews attesting to that. Here is why it works. Sun Goddess Matcha provides steady, calm energy throughout the day. No jitters. It's packed with L-theanine for focus and EGCG antioxidants. And it supports skin clarity and gut health because great skin does start from within. BT Fountain electrolytes hydrate like nothing else. Even with plenty of water, many of us still feel dehydrated. I use electrolytes all the time. I love them. And the difference will show up. You have these clinically proven ceramides that lock moisture into the skin at a cellular level, leaving it plump, fresh, and glowing. Purity matters, and Peak's quadruple toxin screening ensures all ingredients are free from heavy metals, pesticides, and mold. It's just clean, science-backed energy and hydration. So say goodbye to fatigue. Say goodbye to dry skin and energy crashes. If you are ready for healthier hydration, go get 20% off plus a free frother and glass speaker at peaklife.com/thenerve. Again, that's peaklife.com/thenerve. Welcome back to The Nerve. I am so excited for this next guest. This is her second appearance. Her first was a huge hit. Of course it was. How could it not be? It's my friend Kinsey Scoffield of Kinsey Scoffield Unfiltered. And she is joining us to talk about all the latest disasters spun as wins, the failures that are being spun, as Meghan Markle would insufferably say, as learns. This is a new word they're trying to inject into the lexicon. Kinsey, welcome. Oh, look how pretty you look in your pink blouse. Thanks for joining us on The Nerve.
Your hatred for Meghan's use of learns and learnings is what I live for. I when I read that in that article, I immediately shot it over to you and was like, she knows you hate it, and yet she continues.
Yeah, it's like it's her kink, right? No matter what. Skews. Oh my God, skews. Like I was up all night. Oh, do we have enough skews? Well, I guess she didn't have enough skews because she completely ran out of merchandise. And she, as she says in this, I mean, we'll get to the Fast Company piece, which is really just I don't know why they even ran that piece, but I want to get to you first because I want to get to this with you first. You just texted me a little bit ago about having a source who told you about one of the most beloved entertainers on the planet. We all adore her. And a little ask that came her way via one Meghan Markle.
Yes. And we talk about this a lot. We found out that Taylor Swift turned down Meghan Markle for the Archetypes podcast. I believe Vanity Fair told us that Beyonce turned down Meghan Markle for what did Beyonce, was it Archetypes too? And And so over the weekend, the Daily Mail confirmed that Meghan is expected to get a season 3 of With Love Meghan. And the reason I believe that is because I had a source reach out to me and tell me that Dolly Parton was approached about appearing on an episode of With Love Meghan and making a cameo. And her team was livid because no, they don't want to risk Dolly's epic Q score, her popularity, by associating with Meghan Markle. And they knew that this ask was just to give Meghan Markle credibility in this lifestyle space, a space that Dolly does have a lot of credibility in, whether you're mixing up some of her cake batter or whatever. Dolly is not only incredibly popular and loved by the general public, but she also is somebody that can float around within these different spaces. Is she a country music artist? Is she going to sell me a cute sweater? I don't care. I'm going to buy it because I love Dolly. And her team really feel like Meghan was trying to take advantage of her popularity. And so absolutely not. No, they did not make time for Dolly to appear on With Love Meghan.
You know what's so interesting about Dolly Parton, and she talks about this a lot, I think she always says, like, it takes a lot of money to look this cheap, and she's got the fake nails and the fake hair and all of that, but she's so authentic, or at least she comes across as so completely authentic and so completely herself. And it would be like a spontaneous combustion of like good versus evil, I think, if Dolly were to enter a fake kitchen with a fake, I think she's a fake royal, and making some fake food and pretending that they're great friends. I don't think Dolly should have to suffer in that way. She's given us so much over the years. And I love too that, the Dolly thing, what's the other thing that occurred to me about that? I mean, it's such a strange, like, I just don't think that that's in Meghan's wheelhouse at all. Like, do you think she's like really a fan of Dolly Parton's music? Do you think she has any clue about this woman's life story? And also her husband just recently passed away. I mean, have some decorum,
Right. I think that the objective was to use some of Dolly's star power. We've spoken before in the past about how she really struggled to secure star power for her podcast, which was evident. I mean, that I hadn't heard of half of the women that appeared on Confessions of a Female Founder. And she really lacked the idea that season 2's big star is Chrissy Teigen, who just got her hair implants. What did she have done? Her forehead line taken down. She needs an exorcism. She needs to leave the forehead alone. There are bigger things to accomplish with Chrissy Teigen. But the fact that the biggest name she could get for season 2 was Chrissy Teigen for With Love, Meghan, I think it's all about trying to find likable celebrities so that you assume Meghan is like that person that she's standing next to. And the reality is it's Chrissy Teigen. That's all that they can get. Bullies attract other bullies.
That's the thing. It's like, why not really think this through? Like Chrissy Teigen, is known for having told a young starlet to go kill herself multiple times, both on the open internet and in private direct messages. She's a piece of shit. And she's always shoving her freak show in our face. Oh, look, I got my forehead lowered. Who cares what you did? Fix the outside all you want. It's never going to mask your ugly, ugly inside. And this is somebody who Meghan Markle thinks it's appropriate to have on a show called With Love, Meghan. I cannot believe it's gotten a season 3, but at least it might be keeping me employed as in my side gig as an actress. I don't know. So yeah, I wanted to talk to you about the podcast too, because it just ended this week. It had its finale. You would think a finale would just be a blowout, must listen to episode, and it landed with a thud. It's if a tree falls, if Meghan Markle releases a podcast, does it really make a sound? Does it? It was Sarah Blakely, founder of Spanx, which, no longer dominates the shapewear foundational space. And she, as you pointed out, Kinsey, it took her a year to produce 8 episodes. I just want to say for the team at The Nerve, this is episode 12. This is month 2. Okay. We grind it out. We work hard for you. And Meghan is sitting there waiting for the phone call, I guess, from Lemonada about whether she's getting a season 2.
Yes, and this is suspicious to me because they announced this so prematurely. So why wouldn't you just announce a season 2? If it's already something you're talking about, you announced over a year before the podcast was available that you had partnered, and they promised us multiple podcasts, and she was able to produce 8 episodes of one podcast. And then when it came to With Love, Meghan season 2, before the headlines had stopped about how horrific this show was. And I do believe this was a strategy. But before the headlines had even stopped about what a terrible program it was, Meghan was doing a victory lap on Instagram to announce season 2 coming of With Love, Meghan. So we've seen her try to stop negative press with, a surprise, I got a season 2. Where is that here? And if she thinks this Fast Company profile is positive press, the kind of positive press she usually tries to manipulate us with, I digress. Like that, no, girl, we need to have a come to Jesus, because I think that was a horrible profile.
That Fast Company profile. Okay. In it, we were just texting about it. So I'm very, very grateful to have the opportunity to again, have a true catharsis with you, because again, she spoke about her learns which in the real world are called mistakes. You made some big mistakes. And number one is you didn't have enough merchandise to fulfill the orders that were placed. I believe those numbers were artificially compressed. Like she kept a lot back so that she could turn around and say, it's sold out, and it didn't. And then she says, we don't know if we're going to restock. Help me make sense of this. Is this a business or is it not? What kind of business is like, maybe we'll restock? It would be like you or me being like, maybe we'll do another episode. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, so it's like she's talking directly to her critics, and Harry and Meghan do this a lot through the media because they are obsessed. Their Google alerts are live. They have burner accounts. I know for a fact they have burner accounts on social media where they follow conversations about them. So, it's like she's talking directly to her critics in this. And I don't know how you find the schmuck at Fast Company to do your bidding, but this is all one-sided. Nothing's challenged whatsoever. And there's a paragraph that says the easiest thing to do would have been to simply restock the product. Maureen, that would have been too easy, which would have likely sold out quickly. Again, this is just basically Meghan's version of events. But instead, Meghan wants to take a step back, gather data from the launch, and figure out exactly what as ever could be. She says she's planning to announce new products in the first quarter of 2026. You've had 5 years since stepping down as a working member of the British royal family. You've had one, when it comes to as ever, American Riviera Orchard was announced over a year ago. So years ago. So you've had plenty of time to determine what as ever or what your brand is going to be. She's just making excuses and trying to hide her failures. And it disappoints me that someone like Fast Company would play a role in that. But she's just making excuses for not being able to meet expectation.
Well, I just think Kinsey, as ever, she doesn't really want to do the work. No. Like the work doesn't light her up in the way that I think, your show lights you up. You can tell, like you're so engaged, you're so always like just ready to go. You're just ready to go. And she, again, like I don't know what kind of executive would say that it's acceptable for Meghan to go, you know what I want to do? This said no business person ever, said no entrepreneur ever. Like I wish for Mark Cuban's final episode of Shark Tank, they had made it like a special with the Duchess. And the Duchess would have to stay in the Shark Tank and go through all of her failed business ventures and like hear it from them. Like just be taken to the woodshed. Because no, there's not a single entrepreneur on the planet who would be like, it's a great idea. I should absolutely not capitalize on momentum. We live in such a fast moving culture that you have like a nanosecond to get whatever it is you want in front of people's faces. And they're either going to take it or they're not, but they're going to move on. That's how quickly the cycle moves. And she's like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take my learns and my data points and I'm going to go back to my mansion and I'm going to see what they're telling me. And then I'm going to conceive like what my brand should be. If your brand is out there, your brand should have an identity, and it does not. And I just think it's so deeply reflective of its founder, Meghan Markle, who I truly believe there is no there. She has no identity. Therefore, her product lines have no real identity.
Well, you saw the headlines over the weekend about their new royal court that they've tried to build in Montecito. They've got these 11 employees, all white, by the way. If you want to talk unconscious bias, they've got 11 new white people that are there to rehabilitate their image. That's the ultimate objective. And that's what Meghan Markle's saying here in this interview. Rebrand, another rebrand. Constant reinvention breeds skepticism. 1 minute she's a podcast host, the next a lifestyle guru. Is she writing children's books today? Is she the greatest expert on jam ever? Reinvention isn't inherently bad, but without follow through or success in one domain, it starts to look like failing, not versatility. And this inconsistency makes it hard for anyone to invest emotionally or financially in her ventures. We talked about the podcast a little bit. It was you that pointed out to me the way that she almost gives up when it comes to the podcast. There's interest in a second season of Confessions of a Female Founder, and many female founders have approached her to be a guest on the series. Of course they have, but Meghan is now involved in such a wide range of projects. She's sure to find some way to tell her story. That is Meghan's out. That's Meghan saying, but if I don't continue to do the podcast, I didn't need to anyway.
I mean, it's a great theory. It's a great theory. It just, I don't know where she's going to get her dopamine hits because she needs to be in front of a camera. Like, tell me your theory as to why Netflix would give her a season 3.
I think that there is, we've heard the famous line, no PR is bad PR. And I think that that's the way that Netflix looks at her. But I do think she is a liability. And I do think that both Harry and Meghan are liabilities. They're not very honest people. And, there's at some point we're going to stop wanting to look at the train wreck. I don't think that there's sustainability in their terrible decisions. Obviously, that's what interests us. It's not because they have anything to say. It's not because they are so charitable that we're just fascinated by them or whatever. We're watching a train wreck, and I just don't see this. In the long run, how valuable is that, and how long is that going to keep us engaged?
That thing about the Fast Company article, she's always trying to include anecdotes that make her seem like a loving mother. And, my personal theory is if you have to do that, you're probably not. It all feels very performative. She's talking about how she makes sure we know that her. So it sort of, it's been pointed out to me that, she did this right around the same time that I think Catherine, Princess of Wales, posted a photo of George, who had lost a tooth.
Oh, Louis had 2 front teeth missing.
Louis had 2, thank you. He had 2 front teeth missing. And so now Meghan's coming along with her anecdote about her child who just lost his first tooth. And she's such a great mom. She put money under the pillow. And he was so excited that the tooth fairy had come that he woke up at 2 a.m, which I do not believe. Kids get up that early on Christmas Eve, but they do not get up they don't care that much about the tooth fairy. You're not getting it done. It's not a big deal. So anyway, she goes, he came and he woke me up. First of all, I believe she's got like a bouncer outside her bedroom door, frankly. I think it's an exclusive nightclub and children are not allowed. And I'm implying nothing other than that I don't think she's a very hands-on mother, just my opinion. Anyway, so Archie
just tell us she has a nanny.
Right. So, this kid somehow finds his way to his mother, God forbid. And he wakes her up and she's like, I had meetings the next day. I had a very big day ahead of me. But, I think this is the literal verbiage, and it's so telling. I chose to cuddle with him anyway. So this is a choice, not just a reflexive action, like most mothers cuddle their kids when they come, So I chose to cuddle him. And, it's those mom moments that really make me a better founder, a better business person. A
better person, a better human.
Yeah. Those mom.
I have one question about the tooth fairy. Does the money that she leaves under Archie's pillow have his grandfather's face on it? Is that how he knows what his grandpa looks like? Because otherwise he has no clue what his grandfather looks like. I'm hoping that the money
savage.
He gets.
I love it. Is it American money? Is there anything resembling Queen Elizabeth's face? Do they have old currency? That's such a great question. You know what it is? I'm going to tell you what it is. The tooth fairy writes in calligraphy. And the tooth fairy also sends emails as well that, they're going to have thousands to write through. And I think that this kid was like, what the fuck is this? Anyway, the other thing that you pointed out to me, and which I am eternally grateful to you for, because I'd somehow missed it, is apparently we've got evidence that Meghan, who I believe is in my comment section and yours under fake names to your burner thing, because I can tell. She's purchased bots.
Yeah. This is a story that is circulating on a lot of the royal watching accounts. So they're watching Meghan's followers like grow and quickly drop. And sometimes if Instagram's algorithm sees that you're purchasing fake followers, they will automatically go in and clean house. But just to watch some of these royal followers, they're screen recording and seeing all of these accounts that are clearly fake accounts. It's unbelievable. I have said for a while, I can't believe she hasn't matched the same number she had for the TIG. And so I think that it would be intentional because it does look bizarre, right? That she had so many more followers before she married Prince Harry.
Yeah. And it goes to her keeping her comments turned off on her Instagram account. It goes to, when the New York Times ran a very lengthy, flattering profile of Meghan in the kitchen with her mother, Doria. And, we're mentioning another aunt like Jeanette, who I'd never heard of. But anyway, when the digital version of that, the Times turned the comments off. And I just think they're such cowards. They're such cowards. Like, let's do this. Let's get in there. Let's have it out. But they know how hated she is. And they're going to hide behind, well, she's biracial and it probably we can't let the self-selecting group of people who read the New York Times who are like the wokerati, they turned the comments off for that. And that to me says just everything about how universally disliked she is.
Yeah, and we're going to continue to see that because she is such a control freak when it comes to her brand. And you and I both know it's not going the way she wants it to go. It's going south.
Oh yeah. But it's some of the best free entertainment out there, So I guess you and I will both see Ms. Markle in the Duchess, Ms. Sussex in the comment section.
We absolutely will. And you're right. I think I've seen her quite a few times.
Yeah, me too.
Hi. Hey, Meghan.
Hey, Meghan, have us over. Have us over for some tea and some jam. And, I'll bring several outfit changes, Kinsey. I know you will too.
Yeah, absolutely. With feathers.
Feathers, boas, what have you, the works. Well, thank you again, as always, for coming on The Nerve. We love having you, and I will talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Next up, we've got some very interesting news for you guys. We have been dropping these mini nerves on the weekends, typically on Saturdays around 10 a.m. But this weekend, we have something special planned for you. We are going to drop a large nerve, a full-size nerve that is going to be some of the best, most interesting stuff we've done thus far on YouTube on Saturday. And then it's going to be available. We've heard your sort of complaints like, oh, we want to be able to access the mini nerve, but it's not like in podcast form. But on Sunday, it's going to drop in podcast form on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. So you will have that for your weekend. I hope you love it. I think you will. And we will see you back here next Tuesday on The Nerve, where you will never guess what we're about to say next.